Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, and today I thought it would be a better time than ever to make a video on this, seeing as we just got a new update for Shad PS4. I'm making a video on how to install and set up Bloodborne and everything else you really need to know for the game on PC as of 2025. So let's get right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So first things first, you're gonna need to get a Shad PS4 release. Get the one specifically that I have in the description. This is the newest version. It's published by Diego, and this actually has all the brand new particle effects and runs actually very stable compared to any other build that I've used. I mean, I haven't seen these particle effects in any other build, and it came out very recently. So all you got to do is come here. If you can't click on these options here, you're going to want to sign in with a GitHub account, but you shouldn't need to. So all you got to do is come down here, and I'm assuming you'll be on Windows, so you want to come to the QT version. You want to make sure to get to the QT version because that has the UI, so you can actually easily see and click play on the game. It's the easiest way to set everything up. So you want to go with the QT version, so you just click on that and download that, and I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to do that right now. And then the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need your own copy of Bloodborne actually. So if I go to my storage here, I actually have my copy here. It's my own copy. I extracted it from my own copy on my PlayStation. You get yours any means you want to. Yeah, I'm sure you'll figure it out. And what you actually need is the 1.0 version and the 1.09 patch. I've tried it with an all-in-one package before, and it's never worked. I've always had to get the 1.0 version and then patch it with the 1.09 in order to get the DLC and everything working properly. So make sure you have that. And then the final thing you're going to need is a Nexus Mods account. And there's a few mods you're going to need. It's actually two specifically, depending on your hardware, actually. So we'll get to that once we've installed everything. So first things first is bring up the installation of your Shad PS4, which if I go to my downloads here, I will have it right here at the end. So I'm going to select that. And then, so this is going to be your build of Shad PS4. You want to make a folder for this. I'm actually going to do everything inside my storage folder here. So I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call this Shad PS4. And we're going to want to just drag all these files into that folder. And I apologize for my background disappearing. I don't know what's going on with that. I have to find a fix for that. And then next thing is, essentially, it's going to be unpacking the game for your next step. So you want to open up Shad PS4, and I actually like to make a games folder inside here, where I'm just going to call it games. And then this is where the whole games directory will be installed to. So I'm just going to select that games folder right there. Okay. And so now we have our Shad PS4 here. You can see it's completely blank. Probably confused as to what we want to do, which is actually unpack the game file. So what we're going to do is going to be install package here, and we're going to want to follow to the game folder, and we're going to want to install the 1.0 package. Hopefully you know which one it is. You should be able to tell based off the file size alone. This one's a whole lot bigger, so we're going to click on that and open it. Select which directory you want it installed to, which is our games folder, and now it's going to start unpacking. This might take a pretty long time because it's going to be like 29 gigabytes or something that is unpacking. So just wait a minute, and then I'll be back with the game once it's extracted. Alright, perfect. So it looks like our extraction is now finished. It did take a while. But we can finally continue now. So if we hit this, it's going to load the game list, and we'll now see Bloodborne in our folder, and we'll be able to see that it is folder 1.0. So now that we have the 1.0, we obviously want to get the DLC and everything installed. And that is just as easy as doing the same exact thing. Go to File, Install Packages, and then you want to install version 1.09 here. Open that package, and it'll it'll auto detect that it is a patch, and it'll ask you if you'd like to install it. So click yes, and then game successfully installed, and you'll see that it now says version 1.09 here. So we're almost done now with the file portion of everything. Now we just need our mods. There's one mod that is essential, which is going to be this Vertex Explosion Fix mod here. And it does disable face customization, but it gets rid of something like this happening in your game, which is not ideal. You don't want that happening. So to get this, all you have to do is come to Files here. You do need an account for this on Nexus Mods, but if you got one, come to File. And right now there's two different ones. One is for a mod loader, but we don't want that one. We just want the initial version for testing. And so download that, click on manual download here. It'll bring you to a page that'll download it. And then we also need this one right here, but this, I stress this, you only need this if you have an Intel CPU. I mean, it says for Intel in the title, but I've also heard that it's only required for Intel 12th gen and up. So if you have an 11th gen and below, you might not need it, but I have an 11th gen. So I use it with an 11th gen and it works fine. So I don't know, if you want to try it without it, go for it, but make sure you're under 11th generation Intel or AMD. But if you're Intel, personally, I would just install this just to be safe. I installed it and it works perfectly fine. So for that, you want to do the same thing. Come over to Files and download Intel SFX Fix version 27, and you can see it was uploaded or updated pretty recently, a few days ago just. So download that. Again, click on manual download and download it. And we're gonna want to install this in our games folder. So it's as easy as just dragging the folders. So locate the mods you just downloaded, and we're gonna open up both of them. So the SFX Fix and the Vertex Fix here. So we got two WinRARs open, and you're gonna see this devroot PS4 folder here, and it will make sense in just a second. So what you want to do now is right click your Bloodborne and click on open folder, open game folder specifically, and it'll take you here, and then you'll see the same folder, DVD root PS4. So open that up. You'll see it's about the same size as the game. And what I like to do here is just go in here, and you see this one has an SFX file. Just drag this in here and replace it. Boom. So now that is installed. And then for the Vertex Fix, that is going to be a parts folder, and we're just going to drag that over as well. We're going to replace, and now our mod should be installed. And we're almost done. That is the file section completely done and dusted. We still have to do some settings in Shad PS4 here. So to finish this up, all you gotta do is right click on Bloodborne, and we want to go to cheats/patches. And to download cheats, all you need to do is go to repository down here and go to Shad PS4, and then download those. You get a little menu that pops up here. And next you also want to do the patches, and you want to do the same exact thing. Come down here, click on the drop down, go to Shad PS4, and click on download patches. And you got a lot of options here. We don't need to check every single one. Some of them, depending on your hardware, will make your game crash or not. So sometimes you need to do a little bit of messing around. But what I like to do is skip intro. Disable motion blur, I kind of have to mess around with if I don't want it to crash. 60 FPS, force enable old hunters DLC, and then sometimes I'll do disable VSync depending on not if it's crashing. And then there's also resolution patches, so if you want to downgrade your resolution to 900p or 720p to gain some frame rate, you have the option to do so, but just leaving them blank will default it to 1080p, so I'm going to leave it like that. And once you're done, you can save it, bottom right there. And then one more thing we want to do is hit the cog up here, and we want to make sure to enable full screen. And then full screen mode doesn't matter yet. I personally like borderless, so I set it to borderless, and then just click apply and save. And then we are finally ready to launch the game. So let's get into the game here. Launch it up. And boom, we're now in Bloodborne. You can see it's Old Hunters Edition. And I'm just using a generic Xbox controller. It's an 8-bit do that I got off of Amazon. And it works just fine. So yeah, let's try to get into a new game here.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. I'm going to skip the cutscene here. And we can just enter our name. Buns, I guess. I don't know. But we can't do face customization, remember. So let's just go ahead and finalize the contract. And boom. I skipped that cutscene there, but you can see we are in Bloodborne. It's like looking nice. No visual errors. No visual bugs or anything. Boom, we can interact with that. And we got the light shafts coming through the window here and through the chandelier as well. Perfect, perfect. So yeah, it's running really well, and I'm getting to what my specs are in a little bit. But yeah, this should work pretty much completely all the way through. You shouldn't have many issues with it at all. Sometimes you might have some issues with launching the game. I know some people have had issues with that, like clicking on the start new game button and having it crash. But I would just suggest, if you're having too many issues with that, you can actually download a save that spawns in like right after character creation. You'll find that on Nexus Mods, and I'll show you how to mess around with your save games in just a minute here. But yeah, we're in beautiful old Yarnum. Sweet, sweet, very excited. But yeah, pretty much there's a couple things that you will have to do if you want to do some specific things, like I don't know, for the DLC boss Lawrence, you have to go back down to 30 FPS for his cutscene specifically, but once you get past this cutscene, you can revert back to the 60 FPS. Forgive me if it's choppy, I'm recording, so it's definitely going to be choppy while recording. But yeah, I don't know, it's I can go over some other things, but this is essentially like the best that we have at the moment for Bloodborne on PC, and it works pretty great. We also have mods like randomizers and things like that because of the great community on this game, like, thank the Lord. So yeah, I'm probably gonna do a randomizer run pretty soon here. I'm doing my first run with the, what's it called? The Ludwig's Holy Blade or something? I don't know. It's the one that's like a big sword. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. So yeah. If you guys have any questions or comments about like the actual process of installing, feel free. I'll try to answer as many as possible. But one. And I might be doing playthroughs coming up soon, so let me know if you want to see any of that. But yeah, let's proceed into the next part of the video, which is going to be talking more about specs, performance, and mods, and frame generation, and other things like that. So I'll see you outside of the game once more. So one of the last things I want to show you outside of the game is going to be how to transfer saves, because I know a lot of the times it's like, oh, there's a new build out, it's hard to keep up with all these builds, like I don't want to start a new save every time there's a new build. But you don't have to do that. All you have to do is copy your save from the other build. So here's two different builds I have here, two different Shad PS4s, and it's actually pretty easy to find them. User, save data, one, and then you'll see the CS USA 00900, and this will actually be tied to your Bloodborne. So if you want to copy your save data, all you have to do is find the same exact thing over here. So boom, save data 1, and then you'll see this file, and all you have to do is paste it. I don't want to copy this this file right now. This was just a test for the video, but so it doesn't really matter. But if you are having trouble finding the folder, you can always just go into shad PS4. Oh, there's an update. Not right now, but you can always right-click, open folder, open save data folder, and then it'll bring you here. This is one folder away, so literally you'll see the 00900 right there, and then that's just inside there. So yeah, if you're having trouble getting to it, just use that. Whoops. But yeah, so that's how you transfer your save data between different builds, because I know some people might get a little bit overwhelmed with that. So yeah, next moving forward, I'm gonna show kind of my frame rates with my build in different areas. So if you don't want any spoilers, if you've never played the game, go play the game and then come right on back, and then we can talk a bit more about it. And a couple things I just want to cover real fast is that just be wary that once you install your package of Bloodborne, it will be tied in your games folder. So if you have a zipped version of the game, an unzipped version of the game, as well as the shad PS4 version of the game, you'll technically have 90 gigabytes worth of Bloodborne. So I just wanted to clarify that. The only one you actually need is the one inside your game folder. The rest of them you don't need after you've done the installation process. I just like to keep it just in case. You never know. You know, preservation of games and stuff. But yeah, just be wary that you'll have 90 gigabytes of Bloodborne if you don't delete the extracted files of the original files. And then one more thing is I want to talk about updates. Like, I just got the update there. It is completely optional for you to enable automatic updates or check for updates. It shouldn't mess with the build. It should only optimize it further. This is to my knowledge. I'm not sure, so do this at your own discretion. I do it personally, so I always do check for updates. They're pretty frequent, but other than that, yeah, let's get into specs and performance. Alright, so we are now in my main version of Bloodborne, and we're gonna just talk about some specs and things along those lines. So you can see I'm using Intel Presentmon to kind of show. Oh my god, let me turn down the audio. But yeah, we're using Intel Presentmon to kind of look at our stats here. As you can see, it's usually getting a pretty solid baseline 60 around the board, with 1% lows. I mean, 1% lows are dipping into the 30s, but usually floating around the 55 in this hub area at the very least. And this is with the 2080 Ti. You can see its utilization is pretty heavy, almost at 100%. And it is a Founders Edition, so it's almost running towards 80 degrees Celsius. And then you can see the 11900K down there running. It kind of varies the utilization, I'm not gonna lie. It usually floats pretty low, especially if you compare it to the GPU utilization here. But I like going to Canehurst. I think Canehurst is a I don't know, it's just a great place to test frame rates. There's a lot going on there, compacted in a pretty small area. Outside has a lot of enemies and things like that. Like, you can see the frame rates already dipping down by like 10%. Given this is recording, I have to do desktop recording in order to capture these graphs here. But yeah, pretty much you can baseline your kind of performance off this, based off this 2080 Ti here. I know there's like GPU kind of lists, so you can kind of compare your GPU power to my 2080 Ti. But it's definitely 100% playable, 100% better than a PlayStation 4 back in the day, that's for sure. And the snow here actually is relatively new. That came out just a day or two ago, which is really cool. But you can see how low it's kind of dropping if we actually go out and explore and do some things. But yeah, I would suggest, especially if you have lower hardware, just to kind of look around, see if there's any videos of anyone who's like used your hardware before. Just because, I mean, it can be a long process installing it, and if you can't even run it, I don't even know, man. Like that'd be rough, but it's always worth a try, right? You can see this is a weapon I was talking about earlier. This sword that I was using. What's it called? Ludwig's Holy Blade. Yeah, I like it a lot. But yeah, this is probably one of the heftiest areas. I mean, sometimes especially, I don't know, like it can dip down pretty low in boss fights as well. Like I know I actually had in this boss fight, especially Ligarius, I had a lot of issues with his boss fight. So I mean, why don't we go take a look at the DLC as well? The DLC can get pretty heavy. I think especially at the beginning of it. So I wouldn't recommend expecting 60 frames per second constantly if you don't have like an insane machine. I don't even know what would get 60 FPS constantly on this. Again, you can down patch the resolution a little bit. You can see some of the 1% lows just get really low sometimes with the loading and things like that. And yeah, I just wanted to give like a nice kind of view of what frame rates you get with this specific hardware at the very least. So if you have anything close to it, maybe it might help. I'll probably put this right at the end of the video because it seems like one of the more redundant things. I think this is more just like an info thing, but you can see here right in the DLC we are dropping a little bit low there, but once we get outside we're floating around 50, a little bit above. They're gonna get in a fight here. Let's see what it goes down to with some things going on. Some particle effects. I mean, it didn't change too much, right? It's not too bad. Oh my god, he flew, huh? But it's definitely playable. Again, like it's nothing to be too afraid of. I guess I can roll right into the frame generation. Yeah, it seems like frame generation in this game isn't the best. It seems like unless you have like a beast of like a 4090 or 4080, like super or whatever the hell, I wouldn't really go for it just because it seems to actually decrease frame rates and make it a little bit more choppy. Like it makes the 1% lows a whole lot worse. It's kind of concerning, really. But I will show you here in a second after I've taken out some of these beasts. If I don't die to them, Jesus Christ. No, he's coming in to help me out a little bit. But yeah, this is more just going to be like a performance section. And then I'll get into the frame generation portion of it a bit. I'll help you out, dude. Oh, there's two of you. Interesting. Oh, you got the boom hammer, huh? Okay. That's what I was waiting for. Jesus. He's pretty aggro too himself. There it is. Oh my god. So you can see in combat here, it's certainly not bad either. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna launch frame generation here, and you can see how much the performance dips. And I don't know if you'll be able to see. It would probably be almost impossible to make out the frame rate from frame generation, but let's see. But you can see here right now we're getting about 50, right? So I'm gonna introduce frame generation right here. See, it's actually getting to 60 depending on where we look. But here, let's enable frame generation here. And you can see it instantly brings it a few FPS lower, but I don't know how much you can see it on my end, but man, holy shit, does it make it that much more choppy. Like, it makes it double, twice as choppy, you know, like, I don't know what's going on there. I wish I knew more about it, but it isn't it. I mean, it's kind of bottoming out my GPU utilization, but, and I mean, you can look at the frame times and the 1% lows, and then let's disable it. Boom, disabled. Frame times are going down, not by much, a couple milliseconds. GPU utilization instantly dropped. Like, it did that little dip curve there. And the experience just feels so much more smooth. So, I think unless you have like a 4080 or 4090 or something crazy like that, I wouldn't suggest frame generation. It's really better for those like older games like emulating and things like that. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a demonstration. I hope you guys could see how choppy it was when I activated that. And I also wanted to just show you kind of what it looks like when you're just running around and playing the game with these kind of specs. Perfect. Oh, yeah, let me activate a trap real fast. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shit, let me get rid of my cursor. If you guys did enjoy, leave a comment, and I'll try my best to keep on making more content, because I always find it a little bit tough with everything that goes on in life. But always find time for Bloodborne, right? So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you guys will see some more stuff. If you guys want to see like how to install mods or something like that, I could also do a video like that, because there are some cool mods for sure. Okay, this guy doesn't want to use his weapon. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching if you made it this far, and hopefully the editing isn't too bad. This is kind of a scuffed video, but I appreciate you, and then catch you next time. Enjoy Bloodborne. If you installed it, enjoy Bloodborne, because this game is amazing. You already know. Alright, well, have a great day, guys.